Jai Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Ram. Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Ram, Ram. Shri Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram,
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om.
Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Ram,
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om.
Ram, Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Ram,
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om.
Ram, Ram, Jai Ram, Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Ram.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om.
Ram,
Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram. Hari Om to everybody. Today, one of our friends suggested that we should be able to dwell more and more on the word ego. We don't know what purpose it will serve, because we have been hearing about it probably throughout our life whenever we happen to go to a Mahatma, when we happen to go to some portions of the Shastras. Wherever this mention is made, but to what extent it has percolated within, what extent we have been able to implement it in our life is something each one of us has to think. Otherwise, it will become an academic exercise, an intellectual exercise. Our intellect will be able to analyze everything, but at the same time, we are there where we were or where we are. We start analyzing it. The moment we started knowing ourselves as an individual, this fellow is with us. And slowly it encouraged us to what are its the contributory factors for its growth or development, our likes and dislikes, our preferences, priorities, our rights and wrongs. Even if when somebody says we are in a position to accept it, but openly, but inwardly, no. Actually, it is a big question mark in a sadhaka's life for how we can subdue. We may not be able to get rid of it so long as we have got an embodied self. It will be there. The me and mine will be there. How far we can make it under our control? How can we make it subservient to our? This is something each individual has to try. You know, satsang will help us to some extent, no doubt. But we have seen many people who were either not lettered or either were not associating with any of the so-called traditional form of spiritual study. In them, we find this is less and less. Even if they say something, they don't mean anything bad, and we will not take it as bad. And when we tell them that no, this is not right, they are in a position to accept all, readiness to accept. That we have seen. What is the precondition? Nobody knows. Just like, we cannot say that avidya has got a date of birth. Anadi, avidya, anirvachya. It is beginningless. Similarly, we cannot say when this fellow has started dominating. However, we will make a trial of going again, dwelling on various aspects of it. In Gita Sandesh, Pujya Papa makes a first reference about it. First reference means it's a unique reference. You just read of one page. The Bhagavad Gita holds forth before mankind the highest and loftiest ideal, by attaining which the soul is liberated from all limitations and enjoys the peace and bliss of its inherent state of immortality. The first discourse of the Gita speaks on one of the great obstacles that confronts the struggling soul in his effort to realize this blessed state of supreme freedom. We have all put ourselves in a prison, conceptualized prison, unknowing the freedom we want. Now, what is the melody that has possessed the soul, which has made his life cramped, narrow, limited, bringing to it a sense of helplessness and oftentimes utter despair? It is moha or attachment, arising from the individual sense of I in relation to the body and therefrom to the bodies of those near and dear to him by the ties of blood or friendship or material obligation. This moha causes the mind of man as a result of its narrow vision, to move in a limited circle, identifying itself with the interest of this circle. Moha or attachment causes the mind of man as a result of its narrow vision to move in a limited circle, identifying itself with the interest of the circle. In this condition, the vision of man, starting from its individual center, radiates only within this circle and gets so much absorbed in it that the humanity and the world outside it are considered entirely separate, far into it. It is within the experience of every human being who has spent some thought on the mysteries of life that life lived in this limited vision is a constant source of fear and sorrow. He further knows that the more is this vision expanded, the greater is his freedom and the higher is his joy. He feels that he is imprisoned within the fortress walls, raised all round, and although he knows that his freedom lies in breaking down these walls, his attempts at such a task prove futile, as he is conscious that Moha has enfeebled him and made him unequal to it. It is this Moha that weakened the strong altruistic purpose which fired the bosom of Arjuna to stand up and fight on the battlefield. Similarly, it is this Moha that arrests the mass-firing soul when it strives for a wider vision of life, resultant action. Man gets through Moha, so helplessly entangled, caught in the grip of selfishness, greed, and lust, thus acting and living solely for himself and his kith and kin, that the wider view of life is shut out from him, and the great purpose for which he exists is either denied or forgotten by him. As with Arjuna, so with everyone who strives for liberation. It's a conflict between the aspiration for a vaster vision, the crystallized selfishness of an individualistic view. Here he brings the word, something which we can never forget, crystallized selfishness. Every word when we hear, we must immediately go back to our own life. Then the meaning will be real. We'll come back to it again. And what is crystallized selfishness? Papa says, go to the root of your existence. Realize yourself. Then your whole life and outlook will be transformed. If we do not achieve this goal, we live a life no better than animals. Usually, our whole existence is centered in the ego. The ego is crystallized selfishness. We toil day and night in order to get something only for ourselves and our kith and kin. Our vision is thus circumscribed. Outside that circle, the world is not ours. So long as the ego is strong in us, we cannot be happy. If we work, it must be for the good of all mankind. We have to universalize our vision. In that vision, the ego is lost, and we will then be truly happy. Suppose we start analyzing what is this crystallized selfishness. Mostly, we are not conscious of it. It has become a part of. It has become so natural for us. Eh? Crystallized with selfishness. Suppose we have booked a ticket. We have been allotted number 16 in S4 compartment. We go there. No? The train is to leave in another 10 minutes. Somehow we go locate the place. Somebody is sitting there. What is our first reaction? This is my seat. We know the train is not ours. The seat is not ours. We ourselves don't know. But nowadays, of course, people are getting refined. They will not say it is mine. They say, please check up yours. And then they show. But that is okay. First we have seen this. This is mine. Unknowingly it comes. And suppose the person sitting is there known to us. We should understand crystallized selfishness. It need not be in the grosser form. Where are you going? Oh, don't be that. I have booked a ticket, but I have not got the reservation. Don't worry, sit down, sit down. Let them. TT come, we will try. Immediately when you are known to somebody, your selfish interest, immediately your attitude changes. It can come from your chapel, from anything that we use. Automatically it comes. Not that we mean anything bad, but suppose we do some thinking. We have seen that. We may be searching for the chapel, but the chapel may not be there. Otherwise, somebody would have unknowingly taken. My chapel is not there. You watch yourself. When we start analyzing it, some points, some more points will be there. At one point, when we started going through it, these are 4 or 5 points came up. Let us see what it is. Crystallize it. Too much of body consciousness and image of oneself. Too much of Dehavima. And the image, that image is tarnished. I am anxious to keep up my image. Bluntly, somebody has defined ego. Ego, there is no thing called ego. Okay. When we keep on, Papa used to say, as you keep on peeling out the skin of the onion, you will not find anything. Similarly, when we start going through the roots, close our eyes and find out where from the thought comes, how the I thought comes. 100% sure we will become aware that there is nothing called this. But at the same time, so somebody has said that immediately the thought poses as it is the real self in us. The real self is there. God is there in the form of consciousness, in the form of life force, in the form of intelligence. Suddenly, one thought goes and acts. I am that. Because nobody else will be there. That is why in that future moment, what it will not go in. Because he positions himself in the chair. The chair is there for the superboss. Superboss could have gone to the toilet or somewhere. Immediately I go and occupy. And I function. When he comes back, only I realize I should not have done it. Something like that somebody has written. So we position ourselves in the place of the self, original self, and then act. Then that is our final word, We don't accommodate any other thing. That is final. So the too much of body consciousness and image of oneself, and my anxiety to keep up that. Somebody says something, finished. Assertion, anger, frustration, possessiveness, distrust on others. So too much of body consciousness and image. Second is, I am right. I cannot go wrong. I'm asserting. And I will have justification. I have had enough experience. You don't know what you are. I have no. I am recognized. I am accepted. I am acknowledged. Assertion. Those are all interlinked. Image. Yeah. Anger. Bit of anger you don't entertain anything. Only there. Frustration. Possessiveness. Distrust on others. Then insensitive to the suffering of others. So long as I am not affected, is okay. Jealousy, greed, lack of humility to acknowledge for the bounteous gifts of God in the form of one's own body, mind, intellect, and other creations. Lack of humility to acknowledge. Then running after name and fame and sense gratification. Not compromising on any personal comfort. And only bothered about the care and concern of those who serve that individual and is obedient. And resorting to violence even in thought, word, and deed to safeguard one's own interest. Mosquito comes, violence. Not that we are to safeguard ourselves. Anything, whether it is a cockroach, whether it is anything. Not that we mean anything bad. Not that we are outwardly we are not selfish. But these are some of the subtlest form of selfish. Unless and until we keep vigil. Any time through any of these avatars, you will enter into the field. However much we try to understand, analyze, you all remember even when we take to his trust, Papa bluntly says, you go growing along with it. The purpose for which we are there is forgotten. And Papa reminds us that a devotee or an aspirant should first know that his ultimate aim is to remove this tag, me and mine. I'm sure many of you would have gone to In Quest of God, the first book of Papa. The second chapter, entitled Renunciation, there he clearly says, remove the I-ness. The whole saga starts from that. Because However much we try, however much we may intellectually know, we are something in our own place. So that which motivated Papa to leave everything and go. In his words, God made him to leave and go. Is only to see that this me and mine is completely erased. Not a theory, not a dictum, not a dogma, not an intellectual conviction, but it's a practical experience. Every time when he was asked to get down from the rail, once when two boys were talking at him, there are so many such incidents here. The of God really gives us the how a person who wants to get rid of this sincerely, what will be the state of mind when he is actually put on the field. Later on, we also find from the outpourings that in spite of all these things, still he found it was there in a subtle form. And then what did he do? That reflection. Not merely reflection. The reflection was preceded by actual subjecting oneself to such circumstances where the I is totally raised, I and mind. So this is a thing, it's not for one day's topic. It has been with us, it will be with us. Our only struggle, we can say, is to lessen its hold on us. Once again, we will go through too much of body consciousness and image of oneself. Assertion, anger, frustration, possessiveness, distrust. Nobody can live without possession. But possessiveness, when somebody gives, we accept it. When it is taken also, it should be the same. Theory-wise, okay. But actually, when we lose it, what happens? Everything comes because we feel we are all full. When we know that there are many things, we have only seen one dimension, one side of it. There could be many dimensions. So somebody is pointing out, we should patiently hear. Then we may change also. And the subdual of ego, I don't think it can come out of any sadhana. We should cry and pray to him to remove this. Who is now crying? The same fellow. He puts a mask that he is a seeker, that's all. Because there's something when it affects, he immediately flares. So I think some of the best ways we can find is to acknowledge what all he has given to us. By ourselves, we cannot do anything. Only by his will, everything happens. Everything has been provided to us by him only. And he would have made us to know something about something. But still, there are many things about we may not know. When we were studying, there was a beautiful Malayalam poem, 2 words. Still, after decades, we cannot forget them. അനന്തം അജ്ഞാതം അവർണ്ണനീയം. ഈ ലോകഗോളം തിരിയുന്ന മാർഗം. അതിങ്കൽ എങ്ങാണ്ടൊരിടത്തിരുന്ന് നോക്കുന്ന മർജൻ കഥ എന്ത് കണ്ടു. This is so vast, Anandam. Of the origin we don't know. It can't be explained. How this world, the globe rotates. Take for instance, sit somewhere in a corner, not in a corner, in a space where it cannot be even spotted. And from there we decide, we pass judgments. What does he know about it? He is not even a speck. So every time, suppose we bring in that what we know is only a thing, it's very little.
கல்லாதது உலக அளவு.
கற்றது கைமண் அளவு, கல்லாதது உலக அளவு. வள்ளுவர் திருக்குறள். Because the intellect is, the puny intellect has got its own limitation. Why even for coronavirus, in spite of our spectacular achievement in the field of science, field of technology, in the fields of research, still, we are unable to. So this challenge God gives us to bring out an answer. But it's only a comma. Never it is a full stop. Every time when something is given, we are unable to handle it. Every patient is a new patient to a doctor, really speaking. He keeps on experimenting, that's all, Some experiment tricks, something doesn't click. So he should be open-minded. That could be one of the methods by which we can subdue this crystallized ego. Assertion. I am right. You are wrong. I can only, whatever I say, it should be. We have seen many such people who are ready to accept, when something is pointed out. Many doctors, when they were in Wayanad, they will try. And if the patient is not responding, they will immediately telephone to us and said, please take him to the medical college. He is not responding to my treatment. So the open-mindedness is there. They are trying their level best. Suppose, only this much can be done. Wherever you go, this can be done. We will not know, we are guided by them. So we have seen, in every field we have seen this. An ordinary worker, a laborer, who is unlettered, he will be able to give us wise suggestion when we are in the field. Suppose we are having plantation or agriculture. Those who have put in experience and those who have seen by themselves with their own eyes. Because we live and we go there and we say, they will tell us point blank, no, it can't be done, it should not be done. Immediately we ask them, why do you say so? Then they will tell you something. It will be rational. So many. We have seen even very leading lawyers. Very leading lawyers. When we go there and our problem is there, he will say, okay, every day evening you spend some time. When is the hearing? Okay. Then he will also give us, unlike today, a lot of books will be there. He say, anyway, during daytime you are sitting quiet. No, go through this. Anything similar to our, you put a flap and something. But he doesn't have. He has in his mind. where is what. But to engage ourselves so that we will become more and more, educated about it. We have seen such experience, the humbleness, the humility at the same time, not asserting. And it all has, its own impact on us. It is not by teaching or hearing in a satsang that we change ourselves. But such experiences teach us. We have many a time shared, when during Pujya Swamiji's time, when so many people make so many suggestions about any project we undertake. So when we told him, if so many people keep on telling how shall we proceed, he will immediately respond in this usual calm, quiet way. What harm is there in hearing? There may be something, a new dimension. If it is not there, we will go ahead with it. What harm is there in giving a patient hearing? When somebody was asked to move from one place to another, he refused. Swami himself went to that road, convinced him, asked why he is resisting. And when he put up his reservations, everyone was answered. He said, only if these things are there, I will move. Swamiji conceded. This, it is not a theory. He just places himself in somebody's shoe and finds out, yes, not asserting. When I tell you to move, you have to move. So how do we get over? This is not a one-day topic. It has been with us throughout our life, and it is creating havoc. Not only making us miserable, making others also miserable. So this is something on which we have to be very, very vigilant, alert. So anger, frustration, possessiveness, distrust on others, always suspicious. If you are honest, why don't you think that people are also honest? We may lose, we may be exploited, but we will not say it is exploited. No, God is testing us. This cannot be practiced straight away by hearing this, but an experience will teach us. Insensitive to the suffering of others. That means in my mind, the care and concern for others is not there. Only me and mine. Jealousy, greed, that means absence of contentment. He is moving. Why should I not? Lack of humility to acknowledge the bounteous gifts of God in the form of one's own body, mind, intellect, and other creation. If that is not there for a second, I cannot know. How can I arrogate? Anything that I use, anything that makes my life comfortable, I have not originated. Simple truth. Running after name and fame and sense gratification. Unknowingly, not compromising on any personal comfort, and only bothered about the care and concern of those who serve that individual and is obedient. Others no. Resorting to even violence in thought, word, and deed to safeguard one's own interest. There could be many. We will just go through one anecdote that also might throw some. A young lady was waiting for her flight in the airport lounge. As she had to wait for other hours, she bought a book and decided to spend her time reading it. She also bought a packet of cookies. She sat down in an armchair to rest and read in peace. On the armchair next to hers was kept a packet of cookies. A man sat down on the chair next to the chair with the cookies, opened his magazine, and started reading. She opened the packet of cookies and ate the first cookie. The man also took one. She felt infuriated but did not say anything. She just thought, what a nerve. If I was in the mood, I would punch his eyes so that he won't forget this impudence. For each cookie she ate, the man ate another one. This was causing her to fume with rage, but she did not react. When only one cookie remained, he thought, oh, what will this wretched man do now? Then the man divided the last cookie into two halves, took one, gave her the other half. This is too much. She was furious. She picked up her book and things and headed to the boarding gate. When she sat down on her seat in the plane, she looked into her purse for her spectacles, and to her surprise, she found her packet of cookies in there untouched. She realized her mistake. She had forgotten that her cookies were in her purse. The man had shared his cookies with her without feeling infuriated, nervous, or resentful, while she was very upset, thinking she was forced to share her cookies with him. However, there was no time to explain things or to apologize. There are four things that you can't recover: a stone shot, a word uttered, an occasion lost, the time spent. And you can imagine now that half an hour or 1 hour, the waiting period, what a miserable condition she was. Where are the other person? At least for courtesy's sake, when somebody offers, we'll say thanks. Look at the person. This is crystallized selfishness. Me and mine totally occupying. But at the same time, God is there inside us. That is why after the show is over, you become aware. Oh, I shouldn't have done it. That's why Pujya Mataji used to say in a simple word. When you see greatness in others, the same greatness is in yours. When you see pettiness in others, the same pettiness is. These things might help us. Nice to hear in a sattvic ambience where there are no challenges to be met. But when we are forced or subjected to go through, these drops might help us. Taji keeps on telling about this in so many ways. We say, Mataji says, my hand aches or my leg aches and so on. But if we are asked to define who that I is, we are helpless. We just cannot pinpoint that I. The most difficult thing to get over is Dehabhiman. Like a mountain, it can obstruct your sadhana. It is this Dehabhiman that makes one feel that one alone is right and the other is wrong. All that you have to do is to change the direction, so to speak. Instead of prefixing everything with an I or mine, make it you and thine. Instead of saying mera mera, learn to say tera tera. Then the goal is yours. I do not want you to discard your attachments. I wish you to widen the sphere of attachment. Make your circle of attachment bigger and bigger. You know, when any part of your body is suffering from pain, you may pay more attention to that part so that the pain may be removed. By doing this, you are not obliging that part or limb because it is your own. Similarly, consider the poor and the needy as your own. If you expand your sphere of mindness so as to embrace the whole world, then when serving the world, you will be feeling the happiness you feel when serving yourself. So I do not ask you to cast off your attachment or feelings of I and mine, but only to expand them. Transform the individual into the universal. This transformation is possible by taking RAM. Papa says, the idea I am the doer is entirely false. In fact, I and mine is a false superimposition of ignorance upon us. There is nothing here to shirk from or be attracted to. Love and hate have nothing to do with this witness, capital W. Sinners we are not. We are the pure, ever pure, spotless, self-effulgent, all blissful, all peaceful, eternal Atma. Attachment is when you love some and do not love others. You love those who are related to you, who are your kith and kin. Beyond the pale of that circle, you have no love or concern for anyone. But the ideal householder loves all alike. The neighbor in difficulties is considered in the same light as one who is near and dear to him. This is the right vision. And in that vision, there is no attachment. It is moha when your love is confined only to your kith and kin, not extend to others. The sense of I and mine comes into play here, which vitiates your outlook in life. There was one Pankadakshaku in South Kerala, a very noble man, where the I and mine is totally absent in him. He was a teacher. After retirement, he started a movement, no organization, a movement, and people joined him. He also came to us. We spent a lot of time with him. 4 5 days we were sharing many of our experience in value-based education. So he was very much enthused and he wanted us to go to his place. And we had the privilege of spending about 2 3 days with him. From early morning, 6 o'clock or 6:30 till 9 o'clock in the night, he will have cluster meetings. Way in which, everywhere when he goes, there will be small cluster of people assembled. He introduced Maitri Dhyan. One dialogue, a dialogue. First thing is, his house is always open. There is no lock. Anybody can go inside and take anything they want. So he was in the same place, he was sharing. When he came here, we requested him to share during our satsang time. We told him, give us some practical clues. So he said that one day when he was about to go out, his daughter, he lost his wife. The daughter was staying with him. Daughter said, Daddy, why don't you get me a vegetable cutting knife? He went, among other things, he also bought a vegetable But in life, and while handing it over to him or to her, I don't know how to translate this in English. The sweetness will not be there. He says, if somebody, this is what he says, when he gives the knife to the daughter, somebody comes and asks for this knife, you should say, Undallo kondubogame. Yes, it is there, you can take it. Even while adding one possession, he says, be free from the possessiveness. It is not only to me, to you, it is also available for everybody who wants it. If this attitude is cultivated, the crystallized selfishness can be abated to a very great extent. Simple form. Every time we have seen that everything is transparent. Nothing is under lock and key. Because anybody can take. It has been given to me now. We have heard in the vision of God that story of that incident that took place in Kasaragod. When Papa was staying there, they equipped him with all that they can think of. No, he was provided with everything, what all we can think of. The room was full. And somebody comes, asks one by one. He did not say, I want the whole thing. One by one. One by one he was given. And accepting the okay. Queen also he asked. And finally he said, okay, let it be there. And completely, the room was empty. Next day morning, when somebody came there to give the food or breakfast or milk, Papa was sitting there with only the loincloth. So immediately somebody has, normally we rush up with judgment, somebody has robbed. Thief has come. Papa smiling, he said, he is not a thief. What is his, he has taken. Highest form, possessiveness. So, okay, it's for only people like Papa can do it. You cannot expect me to do it. Such things thought may come. But here in Pankajashram we have found. There are many such people. Free from possessiveness. They may be having possession. We had the privilege of serving such a person for years together. He is having so many things, but if anybody asks anything, they have got the freedom to go and take. Zero possessiveness. Whether it is possible, yes, it is possible. It will come only when we know that when we came to this world, we came with nothing. And when we go with nothing. In between, whatever God has made us to possess, He has got the equal right to take it away through some form. This has to come not from a theory. It has to come from experience by observing, by making. Oh, initially, I may get disturbed, but in the shortest possible time, to pull myself up. This is a topic. Crystallized selfishness is a topic which cannot be called a topic. It is traveling with us. It will be with us also throughout. I and mind, having no existence in themselves, need a support which they find in the body. Nisargadatta Maharaj says. The body becomes their point of reference. When you talk of my husband, my children, you mean the body's husband, the body's children. Give up the idea of being the body and face the question, who am I? At once a process will set in motion, which will bring back reality, or rather, will take the mind to reality. Only you must not be afraid. What am I to be afraid of? For reality to be, the ideas of me and mine must go. They will go if you let them. Then your normal nature, natural state reappears, in which you are neither the body nor the mind, neither the me nor the mind, but in different state of being altogether. It is pure awareness of being, without being this or that, without any self-identification. Somebody else says, the ego tends to equate everything having with being, my original self. I have before, therefore I am. And the more I have, the more I am. The ego lives through comparison. The ego lives through comparison. How you are seen by others turns into how you see yourself. If everyone lived in a mansion or everyone was wealthy, your mansion or your wealth would no longer serve to enhance your sense. You could then move to a simple cabin, give up wealth, regain an identity by seeing yourself and by being seen as more spiritual than others. How you are seen by others becomes the mirror that tells you what you are like, who you are. The ego's sense of self-worth is in most cases bound up with the worth you have in the eyes of others. My whole thing is judged by what others think about, and I want to keep up that image. You need others to give you a sense of self. You need others to give you a sense of self. And if you live in a culture that to a large extent equates self-worth, how much what you have, how would you let go of attachment to things? Don't even try. It is impossible. Attachment to things drops away by itself when you no longer seek to find yourself in them. Some tips are there. Attachment to things drops away by itself when you no longer seek to find yourself in them. In the meantime, just be aware of your attachment to things. Petty-mindedness of all sorts comes in the way. Feel that the whole world is your body, your own home. Melt or destroy all barriers that separate man from man. Never, Vivekananda says, never say mine. Whenever we say a thing is mine, misery will immediately come. Protect, preserve. No? Do not even say my child in your mind. Possess the child, but do not say mine. If you do, then will come the misery. Do not say my house. Do not say my body. The whole difficulty is there. The body is neither yours nor mine, nor anybody's. These bodies are coming and going by the laws of nature. But we are free standing as witness. The body is no more free than a picture or a wall. Why should we be attached to such a body? If somebody paints a picture, he does it and passes on. Do not project the tentacle of selfishness. I must possess it. As soon as that is projected, misery will begin. First, destroy the tendency to project this tentacle of selfishness. And when you have the power of checking it, hold it in. Do not allow the mind to get into the ways of selfishness. Then you may go out into the world. Work as much as you can. Mix everywhere. Go where you please. You will never be contaminated with evil. So this is a top. It's not a topic. It is something which is living with us. So constant evaluation. Whenever we are gifted with an ambience, sattvic ambience, we can try to delve more and more in it so that something will remain with us. And even if I forget, I should be able to immediately know that no, it should not have been done. Pull it up. The sense of individuality we need not belittle it. God has given us so that yesterday we saw, then only we can enjoy the presence of God. If there are no two, enjoyment will not be there. So the sense of individuality, which we call it as ego, is a thing to be belittled. The bhakta remains so long as he has got a sense of individuality. And bhakta enjoys the presence of Bhagavan. There's nothing wrong in it. The question comes only when we process everything totally to us. We assume the role of the superboss is completely forgotten. When the superboss is not forgotten, it's a gift. Otherwise, how will we enjoy the presence of God? How will we become grateful? How will we become aware of His grace? How will we know the bounteous gifts He has showered us and making us to live a blissful life, a contented life, full life? Just imagine the whole fuel for our life is given because of that. He has placed before us objects. He has placed before us the needed inquisitiveness, the faculties, the capability, efficiency, everything He has given to us. When we keep on thinking it, nothing wrong with keeping the sense of individuality. It's a joy to be with Him. But at the same time, initially an employee comes, and then he overrides everything and he functions as a boss. And if the boss is too broad-minded, and he will okay, let him also do it. And he feels, he is the supreme, and he creates a mess of everything. That is what exactly is happening in our life. Not knowing the presence of the indwelling and all-pervading Almighty Lord of the universe. And all these things, crystallized selfishness, it comes out only because of our non-apprehension of reality. We assume a role and it creates untold hardship, not only to the individual, but also to the in and around. So we have our own intellectual stuffing will not help us. We keep on praying. You alone should wipe out that me and mine from me. I will keep up that me and mine as your servant, as your chela, as your child. Beyond that, to allow me to entertain anything that makes me to forget this. So these are something on which we have to ponder deeply, bring back our entire lives in retrospect. God must have shown us so many clues, episodes, anecdotes, where at times we have corrected ourselves, at times we have stood stubborn, and later on felt sorry for it. So our own life is an experience, is a teacher for us. So we pray to Him to make us aware of all these things at all times, so that our journey becomes smooth Our journey becomes successful. Our journey becomes bliss. Yo. Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Om
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Om
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Just now, Satish Kamath writes, Vishakhapatnam, AP, there was not a single case of corona, but today some lost their life and many may suffer throughout their life due to gas leakage in a factory. Hari, Hari, Hari. Huh? Hari, Hari, Hari. Vishakhapatnam. Hope the authorities will rush in. We pray for the departed souls. Of course, we have no other thing to say. Something very shocking. They must all be enjoying that they are free from corona. This must have come just like that. God alone should step in and give them the relief. Hari Om. Shri Ram.